Nakai is a small, isolated village in the middle of Laos. When the rainy season ends, the travelling salesman can hit the road again. Sauta is a typical vendor hiking through the remote villages, selling her wares. I'm trying to reach my customers. Oh, there's no signal. Because of the tremendous downpours, she hasn't been able to get to her customers for 3 months. I can't reach them. The phone isn't working, which is never a good sign. The journey will be difficult, but Kem, Sauta's husband, has to make his new truck profitable. We use our own money to buy. That way we don't owe anything to the banks, and there's no interest to pay. The family agreed and got together to buy it. It cost the equivalent of nearly 22,000 euros. A fortune in Laos. Kem and Sauta can't afford to risk the family's investment, but the roads here are notoriously tough on vehicles. Laos is landlocked and is one of the last Marxist-Leninist regimes on the planet. The country has long been isolated from the rest of the world. The recent introduction of limited capitalism has yet to improve the lives of the country's 6.5 million people. 3/4 of the road system in Laos are simply dirt track. We're risking our lives here. We need to go very slowly. You're not going to get through that way. Some roads completely disappear under the monsoon rains. I love driving fast. Faced with battling Mother Nature, humans often have to resort to brute force and give up on mechanics. I have to be real careful. If the cable snaps, that could be it. But other dangers lurk in the undergrowth. The heart of the tropical forests, a wilderness many days' trek away, is a sanctuary for several mysterious ethnic groups. Sauta and Kem are awake long before daybreak to begin loading up their truck. It's a lot of work. We're taking cakes and Chinese soups and beer. You can spread them out a bit more. No need to stack them so high. Back home now, their 12-year-old daughter, who will also be travelling, is preparing the sticky rice, enough to last for 2 days at least. Sauta, in the meanwhile, is buying the charcoal for when they camp out at night. How much is it? 5 euros. Okay. You carry it? Come on, Kem. Let's go. In Laos, gas and electricity are expensive. Most families cook using firewood. Producing charcoal is a job that provides many in Laos with just enough to scrape by. Mai is 22. Her husband is 28. They work from morning till night to earn enough to feed their children. To make charcoal, you need to spread out the wood. Then you set it alight and cover it with earth. Then you just let it burn up slowly. It's hard. Oh yeah, it's hard. We do this so we can get something to eat. It's the only way we can make any money to buy our food. Seng and Mai are slowly ruining their lungs with the toxic fumes and are making barely 40 euros a month. We're not well. We have smoke in our faces all day and it makes my throat hurt. And I got a bad cough. Your throat hurts? Yes, a lot. In Laos, 1/4 of the population lives below the poverty line. With their truck loaded up with goods, Sauta, Kem and their daughter head off into the jungle. The father knows the route, but every year there's no knowing its condition. The path will be very tricky since it's rained so much lately. After the monsoon season, the roads are ruined. It's very dangerous. Ferocious rainfall in the region has caused huge potholes, and in some places washed away whole sections of the road. Kem has to constantly slalom between the ruts in the path. Fortunately, the power steering helps. In these conditions, you couldn't drive without it. 2 hours later, the route turns into a roller coaster. Kem is mainly concerned about not damaging their precious truck. Oh, slowly, slowly. It's hitting stuff underneath. You know, this truck is the apple of my eye. So the harder the going gets, the less I want to force it. If the €22,000 truck gets broken, it would spell disaster for the entire family. At the bottom of the slope is the first stop, the village of Vangm. There's little here, and the arrival of a travelling salesman is a much anticipated event. Come on, I have soup, cigarettes, shoes, and beer. The locals are a little timid, but Suta knows how to land the catch. Have a look at these dresses. Nice, huh? Look at that. Let me have a look then. It's not free, you know. Not expensive. Everyone's wearing these in town these days. Oh, I really like the colour. Oh, it's beautiful, yes. The sales pitch seems to be working. There are also lighters, lovely lighters. Suta never sells medicines, but she always seems to have some miraculous products to sell. Buy some of these energy bars, that'll perk you up. Don't you have any flip-flops, rather? Flip-flops? Oh yeah, I do have some. They're €1.60 a pair. €1.60? Well, I charge $1.70 at my shop, so this is a good price. And I need to live as well, you know. Suta sets whatever prices she likes. Here, there's no competition, so the customers have no option. They're happy. It's not every day that salesmen happen to drop in here. The little shopper is actually a tough businesswoman. Can you lower the price for me, say by about 5 cents? No. So how's business going? Oh, not bad, not bad. The take comes to under €100. That's just about covers the petrol. They hope the next village, Bantom, will prove more profitable. Along the way, the impact of the monsoon can still be seen and felt. By insisting, Kem is getting more and more bogged down. You can't get through that way. The solution might be to take a run-up and force the truck through. But about 30 minutes later, will you look at that? There's nowhere to turn around. We might not get through. It's hard here. My husband's gone to take a look. The plain is completely flooded. Just the electricity pylons indicate a road might have once run along here. The trip's been hard and we came all the way for nothing. there's no way through. There's no choice other than to turn around and head back. The monsoon has been particularly heavy, and it'll take several months before the water recedes. In the meantime, Kem and Suta will need to drum up business in new villages to make up for the delay. Laos has many areas that are virtually unreachable, including vast tropical forests. Its precious woods attract fortune hunters. To help reach the sought-after and rare wood, humans have a powerful ally that dates back 6,000 years. Elephants, who are perfectly adapted to work in the ravines of the forest. Kambu is a male aged 28. Butiang, his driver, directs him by using his feet and the tone of his voice. The animal's only failing is its immense appetite. Stop eating! The animal chomps its way through 250 kilos of plants and leaves a day. He's too slow. Come and help me. The lumberjacks pay Buntiang and his elephant to fetch the wood they've cut in the more inaccessible places. Remove the branches. My other elephant was hurt trying to climb a steep slope like this one. It was raining and slippery and he twisted his foot. We'll need to tip that tree over. We'll lift it so we can pull it out later. Go on. Go on, Grandpa. On such steep slopes, the symbiosis between man and animal is vital. Right, to the right. Down. More. The elephant needs barely 10 minutes to release the 850-kilo tree trunk. Kambu makes his driver very proud. We started training this elephant when he was just 3 years old. Today he's 28 and we can make him do anything. Getting the huge hunk of wood down is a long and perilous process. If the tree hurtles down the slope, it could break Kambu's rear legs. To avoid accidents, the assistants need to act as counterweights. Being able to get through the wildest forest and the hardest to reach places is what elephants are for in Laos. In a final effort, Kambu pulls the load to the very top of the summit. Soon, trucks will come and remove the rosewood tree gathered by the elephant. The wood will be used in luxury furniture and fittings in Beijing, Hanoi, and elsewhere. Come on, let's go and have a swim. To elephants, a swim is more than just a pleasant break. Despite its tough appearance, the animal's skin is very sensitive. The water helps destroy parasites, as well as preventing its hide from becoming too dry. Kneel! Kneel down! Go on, get down! The maneuver soon turns into a game between human and elephant. Catch me, catch me. Come on then. When you're a driver, you have to love your elephant. It's important. Elephants are our livelihoods. Without it, we'd make no money. We love each other. We go everywhere together. Here, come here, you. Their relationship goes back more than a dozen years. Man and elephant have similar life expectancies. And if all goes well, Kambu and Buntieng will continue to work together into old age. Elephant drivers are itinerant and move to where there's work. This time, Buntieng has had the good fortune to be able to rent a house in a nearby village, which isn't always the case. Often there's nowhere to sleep when we work. We just sleep in the forest. Here at least it's comfortable. This is our kitchen. That's where we cook our meals. It's better than camping out in the jungle. This is my family. They all work with the elephants and me. He's my wife's brother. She's my wife's mother. He's my uncle. And she's my aunt. They borrowed money to buy Kambu. He cost them the equivalent of 18,000 euros, almost as much as a truck. We'll stay here as long as there's work. If there's enough to do, it could be another 2 or 3 months. Then, when there's no more wood to pull, we'll just go somewhere else, to another operation. An elephant can earn its owners a lot of money, 400 to 3,000 euros a month, depending on how hard the work is. To earn big, the drivers are willing to risk a lot. In a few days' time, Buntieng will be taking on a dangerous job. Despite their strength, elephants are slowly being replaced by machines, even these ancient Soviet-era trucks. Seng has been driving one for 4 years. The tires get worn out all the time. The engine, however, is reliable, even if it doesn't look like it. The truck was made in the Ukraine in the 1960s. It's a Kraz 255. It's been modified and its parts stripped down to basics, and in others reinforced. Not much is left of the original. If we can't find spares, we make them ourselves. We get scrap metal to make the parts. We just make do. With an engine in that condition, even filling the tank is a challenge. Open that. It takes 300 liters of fuel to fill the tanks. How many liters for 100 kilometers? It's a liter for every 2 kilometers. So 50 liters for 100 kilometers. That's a real guzzler. Seng hits the road with his assistant, Tent. The truck's 9 meters long, 2 3/4 meters wide, and 3.6 meters high, one of the largest trucks the Soviets ever made. Driving this 12-ton heap of scrap metal is no easy matter. During the Cold War, power steering was rare. Visibility isn't great either. Once in the forest, the assistant has to guide the driver through the trees. Further on, a tree trunk has fallen across the track. The two men are experienced and know how to deal with this. With Seng at the wheel, the truck acts in much the same way as an army tank. clearing all before it. "25 kilometers and 5 hours later, Seng and tent finally reach the loading site. The pine wood is on its way to a furniture factory. Each trunk weighs between 3 and 5 tons. "Take the hook and attach it over there." To move it, all they have is a simple winch. Done. Okay, pull. Moving such bulk with such basic equipment means going one small step at a time. Once the front's in, the back end needs lifting. Attach it to the other end, it'll make it easier. So first I put the cable around the trunk and then securely fasten it. And then I shout for him to get the winch started. Pull. It's a dangerous procedure, especially when the cable comes off. The trunks are unstable. Careful! The worn-out equipment only adds to the risk. I have to be real careful. If the cable snaps, that could be it. Have you had accidents? Oh yes, there have been. What happened? Well, the track can actually turn over if the cable breaks. Go ahead, winch it up. The giant game of pick up sticks stretches on for 3 hours. The trunks are twice as long as the trailer. To stop the truck from tipping backwards, the loading has to be as far forward as possible. Go ahead. Seng, who's not exactly big, can just about lift his head over. Transporting 30 tons of wood and scrap metal in such road conditions is a real test. When it's heading downhill, it's not good to use the foot brake. I use the engine brake, otherwise it would overheat. Because of the weight of the wood at the back, I have to climb the slopes in low gear, otherwise the engine wouldn't make it. It's a matter of experience. Because I know my truck, and that's why I can keep going. The two men are paid by the cubic meter of wood they can transport. This journey will net them 37 euros, 2/3 for the driver, the rest for his assistant. It's well paid, even if the risks are substantial. Most people in Laos get by with barely 1.5 euros a day on average. "700 kilometers away in the heart of the jungle, Bun Tieng, the elephant driver, is looking for Kambu, his elephant, to head out for a hazardous mission. Keeping an elephant close to the village is not possible. There's not enough for it to eat there, so we keep him further away. Otherwise, he'll eat all the plants and trees in the village's gardens. We need to keep him further away. Unchain him. Pull! I'm telling the elephant to pull his chain. We ask, and he pulls it to help us. Come on then, pull your chain. Pull. An elephant's trunk contains some 40,000 muscles. Both agile and powerful, it can pick up a coin or maneuver a tree weighing several hundred tons. Today, Bun Tieng and his team are out looking for a rosewood tree of exceptionally fine quality. The crew stands to make 1,200 euros. Only an elephant can manage such work.
Ê, sai đây. Sai. Ê.
The stump must weigh about 5 tons, or 1.5 times the weight of bamboo. The problem is, an elephant can only pull its own body weight.
Sai. Ê.
Go on. Fast. Faster.
Quay.
To the left.
Yes.
Go on. Despite its efforts, it's too much for bamboo.
How?
The chain slips along the trunk. Usually the chain is around the trunk so the elephant can lift it. But we've got a problem here, the chain won't go underneath it. Vangm changes tactics. He'll use the elephant's head to make more of an impact. Bamboo makes just enough room for the chain to fit. Put it through the other side and we'll pull it up from this side. Go on then. Here it is, it's coming. Vangm manages to slide the lever over. One more time. Pull. By cutting up the stump into several pieces, the men will save themselves considerable trouble later on. If we can get it through here, it should work. We'd like to take the whole part. If we cut it up, we'll get less money from the owner. After 40 minutes of hard work, the elephant has finally managed to extract the wood. But the ordeal is just beginning. Now he needs to drag his burden for 3 kilometers to the village. How's it going up there? That's a really large rock. After a desperate 3-hour struggle, the elephant is close to collapse. The stump has barely moved a dozen or so meters. Vangm is ready to throw in the towel. We couldn't manage to move the trunk today. We'll cut it into 2 and then we'll be able to pull it up. But that's for tomorrow. For today, that's enough. The elephant is too tired. The wood will lose some of its value, and while Vangm could have been stubborn, the consequences might have been serious for bamboo. Other drivers aren't as thoughtful. William, a vet working for the Elephantasia charity, is about to tend to his first patient of the day. 3 weeks earlier, this driver was forced to shoot his elephant. It was the only way to calm it down, as it had gone into a must, or violent frenzy, to which male elephants sometimes fall victim. He'd broken his chain and I couldn't do anything. He was going to kill me. What did you have as a weapon? A rifle? Well, the elephant must have been in pain. What did you do? Yeah, he was hurting, so I took a rope and made a noose. Well, weren't you scared? Oh, yeah.
So this elephant was quite difficult to treat. He's quite a nervous character. He can very quickly change and become a little bit aggressive, so you have to be a little bit careful with him. Oh.
Elephants never forget when humans have treated them badly.
Give it a head, no? Okay. I think we're gonna leave it there for the moment. So obviously the elephant is so big, so powerful, that if he grabbed me with his trunk, if he put his head on top of me, it could potentially be fatal.
You're not afraid?
Am I afraid? Sometimes I'm nervous. I'm not afraid of the elephant that I can't do my job, but I have a healthy respect for them.
Known in the Middle Ages as the Kingdom of a Million Elephants, today there are just an estimated 800 left in Laos. Traditions and elephants may be disappearing, but Laos remains a largely rural society. 2/3 of the population survives by growing rice with methods that have barely changed over the centuries. There's not much rice. The harvest isn't great. We're many in my family, and we barely have enough to eat. The thankless work is plagued by other risks. Some paddies are littered with fragmentation bombs. When I dig, I find some. Sometimes they're just below the surface. So I take them and throw them somewhere else. I need the field for a paddy, and I don't want them exploding under my cart and me. So I just throw them further away. Every year, the bombs continue to maim or kill civilians. During the Vietnam War, US warplanes dropped 200 million tons of bombs over Laos. The Americans wanted to destroy the so-called Ho Chi Minh Trail, a series of roads used by the Vietnamese to supply weapons through Laos. For 10 years, the Laotians were targeted an average of every 7 minutes, thus making them the most bombed people in history. It's common to see the relics of war having been converted into objects of daily use. Laos has asked for international aid to help demine its territory. Michael Dolk, a Swedish Army veteran, now works for the British NGO Mines Advisory Group.
So that's BLU 26. We have a rice field just a few meters away. Most likely the farmers here have found it in the rice field and then picked it up and put it there. And that's quite common.
And does it mean that it's not dangerous anymore?
No, absolutely not. You can pick it up 10 times and the 11th time it will go.
There are an increasing number of women bomb disposal experts. Nang is in charge of about 30 young women who earn about 170 euros a month. It's a good salary for Laos, but the job is, of course, a dangerous one. Every square centimetre has to be inspected. When the bombs explode, they send out small ball bearings everywhere. Anyone within range will be hit. The deadly cloud of shrapnel can travel as far as 400 meters. The work is tedious, as the detectors are constantly sounding the alarm. There's a lot of shrapnel lying around here. It can take 2 or 3 days to clear just a small area. At every alert, the young women have to stop and start the delicate task of digging by hand. They never know what they might uncover. In the 12 months to the summer of 2012, the disposal experts destroyed more than 15,000 bombs and cleared over 1,200 hectares. In northwest Laos, the former royal capital, Luang Prabang, is celebrating a daily ritual, the Tak Bat ceremony. Every morning, the monks walk the streets looking for donations from the public. Glutinous rice, fruit, even soap, the Buddhists depend entirely on begging for survival. Somsak visits the temple before each of his trips. Every morning, before taking out my boat, I come to the pagoda. I perform the Yat Nam, a prayer to our ancestors to bring me luck and happiness. I do it so nothing will happen to me during the journey. He looks sweet and pious, and yet this 42-year-old lives a life that's far from safe. He's a speedboat pilot. The boats are used to travel at high speeds up and down the Mekong River, For those in a hurry, it's an ideal solution, so long as you have the physical and mental guts for the ride. Somsak has been doing this for 14 years. His boat is a basic cockle shell with a powerful outboard motor. The engine's a Toyota from a motor car. It's 1,440 cubic centimeters. It can do 70 kilometers an hour. Such power costs more than 3,000 euros, and a good deal of resourcefulness. We dismantled and modified the motor. We removed the parts that were purely for the car, took out the clutch, the gearbox, and the drive shaft. And we added this exhaust and a propeller. The Speedboat Corporation is well organized. It sets the fares and imposes the traffic regulations for the pilots. The number of customers is limited to those who can afford the fares of between 14 and 30 euros a trip, the equivalent of several weeks' salary for most farmers. So while they wait, whose one is that? The pilots pass the time playing the national sport, an activity reminiscent of the south of France. If it's not for this week, it'll be for next. You touch one of their bulls? Oh, missed. Go on, you can knock this bull out. The pastime is a legacy of French colonialism. If you'd touched that one, it would have gone in and we'd have got the point. The arrival of some customers cuts the game short. Somsak casts off. This is our one. They'll need to put these on. Give them the black helmet, that way you'll all have the same ones. After distributing the safety equipment, he sets about making sure his fragile vessel is well balanced. Come this way a bit, please. He should sit next to you. Their destination is Vangm, a village 150 kilometers to the west. The pilot should be able to get them there in a bit less than 3 hours, compared to a normal boat that takes the best part of a day. I love driving fast. Somsak is speeding at 70 kilometers an hour. Every minute counts, and it's the reason the passengers are willing to pay so much, despite the noise and the bumps. My passengers aren't afraid. And have they already been in a speedboat? Yes, of course. But the first time is always scary. Afterwards, you get used to it. In fact, you get to love it. In fact, all you can do is put yourself in the pilot's hands. The speedboats aren't renowned for their responsiveness. To brake, the propeller has to stop turning. It's not like a car where you can stop more or less like that. It takes us longer. If you don't plan ahead, you could easily crash into a rock. Depending on the level of the Mekong, the rocks disappear or reappear. Somsak has to remember where they all are. I was born in a family of speedboat pilots. All my family works in the business. When I was small, I used to accompany my father. I traveled backwards and forwards along the Mekong for years, and I know it like the back of my hand. But preparing for the unexpected, like tree trunks and other obstacles carried downriver, is also a useful trait. The speedboat is the taxi of the river and drops off passengers along the way. Thanks very much. Somsak then continues his race against time. How many more years he thinks he'll do this dangerous job is uncertain. As the road networks slowly improve, the number of speedboats is falling. The country has seen a decade of change, but not in Pongsali. Here, the only political party's propaganda begins at 5 in the morning. From morning till night, the national radio service feeds the public an endless litany. Pongsali is the largest town in the north of Laos, near the border with China and Vietnam. In the market, among the meat, fruit and vegetables are some more exotic items. What's this? It's rat. Is it good? Oh, it's delicious. You have to try it. How much? 60,000 kips, which is about €6. Given this price, it must be a popular food. Pongsali is perched in a basin at about 1,400 meters altitude. These are the foothills of the Himalayas. For centuries, the wild ravines and jungles have served as a refuge for those who have been hunted and persecuted in Tibet, China, or Burma. Dozens of near-forgotten ethnic groups still live here. Tong is a primary school teacher. He's getting ready for an arduous journey. When I set off, I always bring clothes and supplies, especially packet soups. And of course, what I need to teach with. The young man leaves his family behind for 4 weeks. He's going to teach in Chakampa, an isolated mountain village. He's just become a father, but the farewells seem unemotional. The custom in Laos is not to show one's feelings. Okay, well, I'm off then. Take care of the children. His trip begins at the small port of Ha Tsa. He heads up the Nam U River, the only means to reach the isolated areas. The 50-minute journey leads to the village of Vatai. This is one of the least populated regions of Laos, and it's here the trek up to Chakampa begins. Tong gets underway on a trek that will take many hours. It's mid-morning and he wants to make a start before it gets too hot. It might be weeks before someone else heads up this way. If he slips into a ravine or hurts himself, there's no one around to help. The humidity is at 80%, making the trek even harder. And danger lurks beneath the dense and rich foliage. Yeah, look there. Look at this. Over here, look. It's a large centipede. Now that's dangerous. Its bite is highly toxic. Tong avoids the danger with a deft kick, but he's not always so relaxed. He was just 20 when he first faced this hostile terrain. At the time, I was on my own, like today, and I was scared. The jungle was thick and oppressive. My main concern was snakes. I was afraid of walking on them and being bitten. I'm still scared of them, actually. There are all sorts of parasites here. What's that? A leech. Are there many? Oh yeah, plenty. Look. The leeches can make their way into the most intimate parts of the body. Their bites can cause serious infections. After having rid himself of about 20 of the bloodsuckers, Tong sets off again through the jungle. 3 hours later, he enters the territory of the Aka, one of the lesser-known ethnic groups here. Up this slope lies the village of Chakampa. The Aka people jealously maintain their traditions. The women wear loose indigo robes and ornate headdresses. The clothes represent their status, married or single. Up here, a pig is a valuable commodity, and they're only slaughtered on special occasions. Today, they're celebrating the return of the schoolteacher. But when Tong first came here 4 years earlier, things were quite complicated, as persuading the men their children would be better off in school rather than in the fields was no easy matter. I had to consult the council of the 7 wise men and the Naiban, the head villager. I told them, "How do you expect me to do my job? What do you expect from me?" I heard them out and took their advice. Aka society is patriarchal. Cooking, cultivating the rice on the mountainsides, cutting the wood for fires, spinning the clothes and making wool means the women have very long days. And in the morning, they're the first to get up. Before the mists have dispersed, the women fetch water from the wells, several dozen meters down the mountainside. A bamboo container like this can easily weigh more than 20 kilos. Tong gets ready for his working day. He lives here in a small cabin built by the villagers. At 8, he rings the bell for the start of school. 5 days a week, he teaches the Laotian language and culture to some 50 kids aged between 6 and 14. Everyone here? At ease. The schoolmaster does not take discipline lightly. Go on. Well, what's that? What's that? Button this up. He inspects each of his pupils as they file into the classroom. You need to wash your feet. Go on. Sit down. Tong teaches 6 different classes. Stand up. What's this called? A coconut palm. A coconut palm, yes. And this one? A palm tree. Let's hear it for Simsei. Go on. Applaud him. At this school, adorned with the colors of the popular Democratic Republic of Laos, is a political tool. For 20 years, the government has been trying to stamp its authority on the minorities, including by forcibly displacing thousands of people. The fate of the Aka of Chakampa is already sealed. In 3 years, they will have to leave their mountains and move near a town, abandoning their lands and their traditions.